nearby who heard the shots and saw Richards fall called police. The gunman was still inside the store at 5th and F when they arrived, and he resisted officers with gunshots. Patrolmen took cover along the streets and began firing tear gas into the shop from behind a Coke truck, which they used as a barricade near the intersection. From the street, officers could see Richards' body laying in the doorway right in the middle of the battle. They had no way of knowing whether he was dead or alive. So, under the cover of a barrage of tear gas poured into the building and a fierce crossfire, they sent a rescue party to the doorway. While the sounds of gunfire rattled and echoed through the streets, Richards' body was dragged out of the shop. Richards lived at 4410 Utah Street. He was the store's credit manager, and police said they believed the gunman, Anderson, had intended to rob him. Some officers used machine guns during the battle, which also brought about the death by heart attack of 52-year-old Robert Crandall, editor of the San Diego Independent. He was carried from the scene. Crandall was covering the story for his paper. The William Penn Hotel over the store had to be evacuated, and the residents were led to safety. Because of the difficulty of seeing the gunman inside the shop, a Loomis armored truck was employed by police to get closer to the building. Much of the tear gas that was fired into the shop was blown right back out by the gusty winds on Thursday. It was a rainy day with dark storm clouds blowing by overhead. At one point, the tear gas blew out of the shop and into the armored truck and into the eyes of the officers. They had to come out for air, but not the gunman. He managed to remain inside. Then Navy Shore Patrolman Frank Morales of 6661 Kelly Street prepared to throw the first of 2 concussion grenades. He was given a bulletproof vest, put on his helmet, and was ready to go. Officers then laid down another layer of heavy gunfire, and Morales dashed to a pillar in front of the shop doorway. There he pulled a pin on the grenade and tossed it into the left side of the pawn shop. Morales then went in and threw another grenade. It blew out the wall of the mezzanine above an adjoining tailor shop on 5th Avenue. The debris flew into the street, spraying parked cars. Thousands of spectators had gathered by this time to see the police close in a second time. Sergeant Alan Brown led the charge upstairs above the pawn shop and came face to face with Anderson, who was still carrying a gun. Brown quickly unloaded his shotgun on Anderson, who was critically wounded and was carried outside and taken to the county hospital. His condition yesterday was greatly improved, and doctors expect him to survive. Here is Sergeant Brown. Sergeant Brown, who shot the suspect, described the action inside the store after the second grenade was thrown.
Then he started firing out through the windows out in front, and I could hear officers shouting out there and shots going on. I then went up the stairs again, feeling that the suspect was distracted from me. Sergeant Sweetall was right behind me, and Lieutenant Clarence Myers was behind him, and Officer Augustine was behind him. We were just a mass of men going up the stairs. So I got up to the top of the stairs. I could hear the suspect. He moved off to my right, behind a door. I fired 2 rounds with the shotgun into this door area, and he fled down a narrow, dark passageway there and disappeared to the right. So I went after him, and as I got down there, it was much darker. I rounded a corner, and he was standing there with a pistol in his hand, and I emptied my shotgun at him at a range of about 4 feet.
And that's the story of the gun battle in downtown San Diego, all too reminiscent of the old Wild West, with all the excitement and emotion and inevitable death of 2 men.